What's up everyone? Today we have a video and we're gonna go ahead and rank all the weapons right now when it comes to PvP in New World, and that's on the dueling side and on the outpost rush side. Right now the meta is a little wonky. There's a lot of different stuff going on. There's a couple of different weapons that are really up there, so we're gonna get all into that right now. Alright, so the first weapon we have here is the bow. Now the bow right now it's actually kind of disgusting. Like, I actually seen a video that somebody uploaded. It was like a one-shot bow using like a splinter shot or like spread shot. I forgot exactly what the move was called, but like, yeah, it was literally just one-shotting people like better than like the ice gauntlet. Like, it was insane. But no, bow right now is really good, but I honestly don't think it pairs up, like with a lot of weapons besides the rapier and like, spear. So in that sense, like, it's good, but it's not really versatile. But it's top tier right now for sure, so I can definitely put it at S tier right now, 100%. Now look, I know you're thinking bow S tier, like, that's gotta be crazy. But really think about it. Bow in the 1v1 with any other weapon in this current update where the bow is able to jump cancel and move around like crazy with the damage that it has. In a 1v1 strictly with just weapon versus weapon, like, bow is gonna win, most of the fights. Actually, almost all of them except maybe fire staff. Alright, the next weapon we have here is the fire staff. And the fire staff, honestly, I get like, a vibe that people don't really like it. Like, they think it doesn't really do that much damage. They just think like it's a heavy attack weapon. But honestly, I think the fire staff is a good, well-rounded weapon. Like, you literally have damage boost, you have mobility, you have, just range. It's like super versatile. You can use it with the rapier, you can use it with the void gauntlet, you can use it with the ice gauntlet. So I honestly think that the fire staff is a solid all around like good weapon. Like, I could definitely put this at an A tier because it's not like overpowered. Not gonna do some insane damage with it. You can do that though for sure, but I think it's more of a a good weapon that you can sustain with, and it's always going to be handy. So I'll definitely put it as a solid A weapon. Alright, the next weapon we have here is the great axe. And the great axe is a weapon that I gave a lot of chances. Like, these last couple of weeks, I literally mained great axe and hammer for like a while. And honestly, like, I didn't use it before patch to see how good it was before then. Like, I just started using it this patch, and from what I've seen, like, it's really not the best. Like, especially fighting ranged, which is really like the meta right now, is having some range on you. Like, you're not really gonna hit anyone if they're wearing medium, even medium, but like especially light armor, but even medium armor, you're not really gonna get hits on them. Like, most of the time they're gonna outplay you, and just, mobility is key in this game, and the great axe does have that for sure, but range just kind of takes it away from it. So yeah, great axe, I would definitely put it like B tier right now, especially because you can't really combine it with too many other weapons either. Alright, the next weapon here is the hatchet. Right now the hatchet, as I said, ranged is the meta, and hatchet's not keeping up. I feel that when you're using the hatchet and you start doing your auto attacks just hitting, like, it keeps you so stationary. You don't really have a lot of range with your attacks. So the hatchet is kind of like a sitting duck weapon. The only thing it's really good for is a passive to keep you alive. But most of the times that's, it's not what wins you the fight. If you have to go into that state and almost die near the fight, most likely you were already going to lose in the first place. So hatchet, I would put this at a C. Alright, the next weapon we have here is the ice gauntlet. And man, the ice gauntlet is actually one of my favorite weapons to play. Actually, like, out of all the combinations to play right now in PvP, I think the ice gauntlet and void gauntlet combination is my favorite. But the ice gauntlet, especially with the ice shower just being so insane, like, that CC is crazy, and the damage that you get off and you have them with that and in the storm, it's crazy. Like, this weapon is something you can really just outplay people, get them in sticky situations. Like when you get those combos off with this weapon, especially with the Void Gauntlet also, it just feels so good. So like Ice Gauntlet, super solid weapon, although it can really only be used, well, I mean, I've never really seen someone use Ice Gauntlet and Rapier, and that actually kind of seems interesting. I might try that out myself. But Ice Gauntlet, it pairs well with the Fire Staff, and it pairs well with the Void Gauntlet. That's about it. So it's not like, you know, the most versatile weapon, but it's still super solid. I'll go ahead and put it around A, especially just because Ice Spike right now is insane. Like, honestly, if they patch that, like I would put it at an S tier, but I know that, like, you know, Ice Spike is probably like the best thing that would make it S tier. You know, without Ice Spike, I think it would just be an all around, you know, good mage weapon, you know, A tier for sure. So that's where I'm gonna put it at. I don't want to just jump the gun and put it at S tier just because Ice Spike is OP. So let's go ahead and put this at an A tier. Alright, Life Staff. Now this one is actually kind of hard to judge. Kind of depends on what kind of PvP we're talking about. But if we're talking about, you know, for Outpost Rush, Life Staff is great. It's like it's one of the top tier weapons you can have in there for your team, you know, for healing and keeping everyone alive. It's really what, you know, helps out most of the fights. For dueling, it also works too, but it's kind of like, you know, healers usually don't have enough damage output, so they kind of just get destroyed, but people are kind of tankier. So I wouldn't say it's like the best weapon for like duels or anything. Obviously with the Void Gauntlet it is really strong, but the Life Staff itself, I would say, you know, is pretty decent. It's not going to be good all around, but obviously Outpost Rush, you're going to be doing something for duels, not so much. So Life Staff for now, just go ahead and put it at a B. Alright, the musket. Honestly, lately the musket, like, it hasn't been on my radar much. Like, usually in Outpost Rush, like, muskets would just be smacking you, hitting you, just there's nothing you can do about it. Lately, I haven't really, maybe people kind of switched away from musket, but it's like, I don't really see it being too much of an issue anymore. I don't think musket's really something that I'm like looking out for in the battlefield. In Outpost Rush or duels, no one really uses a musket in duels anyways. So right now, musket, I would just go ahead and put it at a B. It does a lot of damage, like that's nothing you can hide, but you know, skill base wise and like what you can really do with it is not much. You know, you just shoot. So I'll put it at a B tier. Alright, and the next weapon we have here is the Rapier. Now, this is probably like one of the contenders for like the top melee weapon in the game right now. Compared to this one, Spear, I think it's really between Rapier and Spear right now. Both of the dexterity weapons are both of the they're basically the two best melee weapons right now. And Rapier just has everything. The riposte is super nice. It has the movement with the whatever the dash move called whatever the dash move is called. So you have the mobility, you have the damage, you have the counters. It's a super good weapon. You can apply bleed. Rapier is definitely a top tier weapon. Like Rapier is actually an S tier. Rapier works super well. You can use it with the spear, you can use it with a life staff if you want, you can use it with the fire staff. That's actually my favorite combination, is a fire staff and a rapier, because you just have so much mobility, especially if you're using like light or medium. Even if you're using heavy armor, the mobility from just having the rapier and the fire staff is just crazy. So Rapier, S tier 100%. Rapier is a super solid weapon. Alright, so this weapon right here, in my opinion, is one of the #1 dueling weapons in the game right now, which is the spear. The spear is the weapon that you really play, like, you know, the spear is predictable, but good players know how to make it, you know, unpredictable. Like the spear it really has level gaps to it, you know. So like the spear is a really good PvP weapon because they know what you can do with the spear with all the CCs most of the time, but if you know how to play it right, you can really make the spear like just insane. Like, you know, most people are just gonna do the basic combo, might hit you with the sweep, go down for the stab, you know, hit you with the kick or whatever, but like you know, if you know how to do a dodge in between this and then maybe step back here, and yeah, I know you understand what I'm trying to say. But the spear is super nice right now, although it doesn't pair up well with other weapons that much. Like, you know, you can use the rapier, and that's probably like your best bet. When it comes down to it, the spear is really just solid with the rapier. So I'm gonna go ahead and just put it at an A tier, just because it's not as versatile, but it's super good. It still does super high damage. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this at an A tier. Alright, next weapon we have here is Sword and Shield. Sword and Shield, it has some decent uses, you know, it has some gap closers, it has, wow, that's really about it. No, it has some good passives that you can use, you know, for blocking, for tanking. If you do like a full constitution build, Sword and Shield is really good to just put out some CCs while the team fights are going on, outpost rush. But other than that, it's not the best, but I've seen some good builds with it. Like, I've seen people really make the Sword and Shield work, but I don't think it's anything that anyone's afraid of, you know, when they see on the battlefield. Okay, like, you have a Sword and Shield, I'm probably just gonna avoid you anyways because you're gonna be super tanky, so you can just, you know, fight somebody else. So most of the time, Sword and Shield is just gonna protect you rather than really, like, you know, give you that damage you want. Comes to PvP at least. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this at a C tier, probably with the Hatchet. Alright, the next weapon we have here is a Void Gauntlet. The Void Gauntlet is super solid right now. The Scream CC is still, or the Petrifying Scream, yeah, the CC is still super solid. Everything about the weapon is pretty much good. You know, you have the debuff, which is super solid, which what negates their damage to you, ups their damage to them. It's super good for tanks. You can pair it up with a life staff, you can pair it up with a hammer, you can pair it up with a fire staff. It has a lot of combinations. Void Gauntlet is definitely a solid all-around weapon. I'm pretty sure when more weapons come out in the future, you can probably pair it up with those also. So it's really good. I'm gonna go ahead and put this at an A because Void Gauntlet has just been solid ever since it came out, so definitely. Alright, and the last weapon we have here is the Warhammer. Now the Warhammer is a weapon that's really good for your team. Like an outpost rush, Warhammer it literally guarantees kills. Like when there's that one tanky person that's always, you know, just sitting there getting hit by everyone with rapiers and magic weapons, so they're not really, you know, staggering him. Warhammer is that weapon that just goes in there, stagger him one time, boom, his health is deleted. Like Warhammer really gets the job done when it comes to fights. And even in you know, duels, it's pretty solid, but most of the time people can predict it too easily and just dodge it, so it's not that good unless you know, it's outpost rush and no one's really seeing you come from behind them with the hammer. So it's definitely a solid weapon. I wouldn't say it's the best for all situations, so right now I would say it's probably a B tier. It's not gonna do, like, you know, the highest damage output. It really has just the use of CC, which is good for, you know, outpost rush mainly. But that's gonna be it for this video. Honestly, this list looks pretty much how I thought it would look. And it actually looks like something else too, but we're not gonna get into that. But if you like this video in any way, go ahead and hit that like button, hit that comment section, tell me what kind of content you guys want to see next, hit the subscribe button, turn on the post notifications, and I'll catch you guys later.
In the nighttime it get tricky, mess with me, we send that boy straight to whoop, straight to the backseat. Put in work up in the nighttime and it's getting tricky. I put my sweat and my tears in this bitch, so I swear to God it's getting busy.